everybody, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. My hair is not cooperating today. It's fucking Saturday. All I did was eyeliner, like liquid eyeliner. I'm fucking dead. Fluff my hair, boom. Not going anywhere right now. It's pouring. It's supposed to be a flood all day, so we're gonna be working today. I went to the library. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I was practicing my singing and I was hitting some really high notes, which I amazed myself that I could get up in that register because I'm an alto. So my throat is fucked today, but I can do soprano. Soprano. The New York came out for a second, but it's been a minute since I've sang at all, so I'm just throwing myself back into singing. And I'm kind of terrible at it right now because if you haven't used your voice in years, you can't, it's not like riding a horse. You got to practice. It's a muscle. So I'm not going to sing in front of anyone until I get my shit together. I'm working on it. But I don't know how much working I'm going to be getting done because I killed my voice. But Mariah Carey is a giant. And my friend who's helping me, he trains real singers on the side for extra money. Luckily, he's hooking me up with just a few tips for soprano because I was really struggling and I just called him out of the blue. I'm like, I can't get out of the alto pocket. Like, how do I do it? Like, I'm just so used to I just go naturally into my registry. I'll be singing, meaning to go up high, and I'll just stay straight in my pocket. I'm like, why the fuck did you do that, Sal? Get out of your pocket. So he did these practices with me and I got up to the high. I didn't think I could. I'm like, I can't fucking do Mariah Carey. He was convinced because I have such a squeaky talking voice that my singing voice can do it. I'm like, you're full of shit. I cannot do it, guys. I'm not Mariah Carey. I can't be breaking glass and shit up in here. That's what I feel like they're trying to make me do. Let's see how high she can go up. Let's break these fucking glasses. And I'm like, bro, it ain't a thing. I don't even think that's real. I saw it when I was a kid. That segment, I think it was Mariah Carey where she broke glasses. But was that just a commercial? Was it real? I'm a scientist. I don't feel like, unless you're a machine, I don't feel like any human voice could break glass. Maybe Christina Aguilera. Maybe Mariah Carey. Those are the only two that I would bet money. Maybe not Mariah Carey anymore, because I've noticed, I used to harp on singers all the time, but I'm 39 years old and my voice is not at all what it was. But I don't sing every day. I think you have to sing every fucking day to keep that muscle. It's just like any other muscle in your body. Anyway, I suck right now. But I was hitting those notes. It sounds good, but it's alto. And I'm not supposed to be an alto. So stop it. Go up higher. But I have to squeeze. Get those notes out. But I got it out a few times, so I know I can do it at least. God help us all, my poor neighbors. We're probably sick of Mariah Carey. Anyway, I got this book for myself because I fucking love Judy Garland. She's my mother. I don't care if that's weird. She raised me. I watch Wizard of Oz every fucking day. I was little Judy Garland. You see me acting out scenes on here on my shorts. Can you imagine me at little ass kid? I was Dorothy, okay? This was a performance. When this movie came on, I was not Lizzie anymore. I was fucking Dorothy. Everything Dorothy did, I did. I mimicked the fuck out of her. And I think that's why I have a weird voice, because no one in my family talks like this. I'm a squeak box because of she raised me. She was in a lot of movies, but I fucking love Wizard of Oz. I can't, if you're a good singer and you sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I will fucking cry. It just moves my soul. It's something ingrained in there, from childhood, that's my soft spot, that song. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna sing it to my babies. Anyway, since it's Halloween ish. I did get some more kids books, and I found some really cool ones that the parents can also get down for. But I'm going to start with, at some point today, I'm going to do these books. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all of them, but before the weekend is out, I'm hoping to get these books done because I want to get them back to. They don't have late fees anyway. I found out that they did away with the late fees so that nobody would have a reason not to come back to the library because, kids lose shit all the time. So if you are worried about a late fee, you can go get another book. They're not going to charge you anything. There's no more limits. I'm sorry. You can take out 50 books. There used to be you can only take out 5 or 6 things at a time. The limit is 50. Okay, so you can get as much as you fucking want. But I don't like to, especially these kinds of kids books. I know they're popular, so I try to get them back to the library as soon as possible. But I'm going to do our Day of the Dead celebration, teaching the kids about the Day of the Dead culture. I think that's right in line with Halloween. I've done a couple Halloween books, but I haven't done anything about the Day of the Dead, so I'm sold. Also, if you grew up in my generation, hello, The X-Files. Earth children are weird. It just called me. I was like, I am an Earth child. That's weird. I need to read this book to children. Plus, it's The X-Files. So I know parents that watch that show will be like, cool, let's listen to this one. Keeping up with favorite TV shows. Hello, Friends. Holidays are better with Friends. It's about Christmas. I just realized. All I saw was Friends. I didn't know this was a Christmas book. Oh, it's got all holidays. Okay. Thanksgiving, which is coming up. Easter. Okay. We're good. It's all holidays. But I saw Friends. I was like, oh, that's my jam. I love that show. Of course, everybody who watched Friends is going to let their kids listen to this one. I'm trying to entertain. Kids play stuff, but parents have to hear it. So I also, keeping up with TV shows, found a Seinfeld book for kids. Of course, I'm going to read this for your kids. And then, I like this. This is The Fresh Princess. It's based on The Fresh Prince. Look. Inspired by Will Smith, The Fresh Prince. So I kept up with all the TV shows. I didn't even mean to find TV show books. I just kept finding them. And I'm like, this is my theme for the week. We're doing TV shows. If I find more, clearly I will get them. But I scouted through all the books. These are the only TV show ones that I saw. So, I'm going to start with the Day of the Dead because Halloween's coming up. So that'll probably be today. I'm probably going to do the Friends ones first just because out of these shows, this is my favorite. So, I'll probably get 3 done today. And I'll probably do the Fresh Princess one because girl power. Ladies first, and maybe do these 2 tomorrow. Either way, by the end of the weekend, they will be up. I don't know when I'll get back to the library, probably next weekend. I'm trying not to do them all the time. I know that you like kids' books. They got a lot of views last time, and I was very happy. But I was a little sad that my disability books didn't, maybe they just don't have anyone in their school that has disabilities, but I was hoping to help kids not to be bullies and help them to understand differences in people, but I just don't think parents are about that anymore, and so FYI, parents, expose your kids to Down syndrome, to autism, cerebral palsy, MS. These are all things that are common that they are going to face at some point, whether it's in elementary school or all the way up through high school. There's going to be someone in their school that has this. Also dyslexia. Someone in their school is going to have it. Deaf and hearing and impaired and blind people. You need to teach your kids how to respect them and not add to the bully problem because the teachers can only do so much. Think about one teacher to 25 students. Do you think that they can be on top of all of their educations, all of their emotional states, and make sure no one is being bullied? It's too much for one person, and you pay them like shit. You pay them like shit, and they are so structured in how they do their job that they can't even, raise their voice. Like if your kid is acting up in class, the teacher cannot do anything about it by law. So you're sending your teacher to a classroom, and all she can or he can do is be calm and speak calmly to your kid, because anything else they could be fired for. It's not like how we grew up, where I went to school. If I acted up, my teacher would say, "Hey, that's enough. Sit down in your desk." They can't do that now because your parents are too sensitive. That's abusing my kid. You're embarrassing my kid. You're raising your voice to my kid. This is why we have a teacher shortage. You guys don't understand how much pressure you're putting on one person when you're not helping your kids learn as well. 25 kids to one classroom should never be a thing, but that's the government. That's not your teacher, that's the government. They work in a public school system. If you are in a private school, you have more control as a parent. As a public school, the teacher has just as much power as you, which is little to none. Okay? They can no longer pick their own content on what they teach you. Everything is a syllabus government mandated down the line. They can't even pick their own reading books that they would like their kids to read. Everything is pre-selected by the government. I don't think you realize as parents, when you send your kids jacked up on sugar, when you send them then they didn't get the proper amount of sleep, when you're not sitting with them and teaching them, and the teacher has to take extra time with your kid because you're not stepping up as a parent, that's not on your child, that's on you as a parent to not take the time to understand the state we are in as an education system. Anybody in poor to middle class, your child is suffering and your teachers are suffering, and parents just keep complaining yet don't want to pitch in any more money. Teachers are paying out of pocket for toilet paper, Clorox wipes, so they asked you to start helping them pay for it, and you couldn't handle it. You threw a big hissy fit because you had to help the teacher who was paying out of their pocket, already not making shit as it is. They're paying for your kids' butt paper, their tissue to clean the classroom, and they couldn't afford to do that. They asked for help and you shit on them. So I am 100% riding with the teachers. You need to step up with your homework. Do you think the teachers picked this new wonky ass system to teach kids? Nope, that's the government. The teachers don't like it. The teachers don't want to implement it. The teachers do not have a say. Do you know who does have a say? The parents. If the parents rose up against the public school system, they would have no kids coming to that school because the parents would be disgusted on how they are being educated and in the circumstances the government is. But you don't want to do that as a parent either. So you're not supporting the teachers, and half of you aren't supporting your own kids. You put a lot of pressure on. It is not just the teacher's job to teach your kid. You don't just send them to school. Oh, that's their job. It's their job to teach them. That is bullshit. That is lazy parenting. You are supposed to sit with your kid every day with their homework and back up that teacher. Help them learn how to read. Help them learn how to spell, learn colors, especially when they're little. They learn a lot. Majority of what they learn from you, parents. Not the teacher, not their friends. You, from age 0 to age 5, they are sponges on you. So how you spend your money, how you study, how you structure your day, your kid will implement that in their life. So if you're a very chaotic person who's stressed out all the time, who doesn't sleep, who doesn't have a structured schedule, your kid's not going to be structured either. You're sending an unstructured kid into a learning environment. Half of the time they don't eat breakfast. Half of the time they don't have enough sleep. Half the time they are not getting appropriate emotional support. As in, I feel stupid, I can't do this homework, I'm so stupid, and they act out and they throw things because they're not getting emotional support, and the teacher is one person. I'm sorry this went left, but mostly this is all through the panel. I'm just trying to help teachers change things, and we're hitting heads against the parents when we should be hitting heads against the government. So I'm just saying, all the parents out there, that you do get your kids to bed at an appropriate time. You feed them well. You help them with their homework. You teach them not to bully. You say, when hey, you mind your teacher, like if the teacher has a problem and they write a note to you or they call you and you step up and handle it, you are doing your job. Thank you very much. You are a very good parent. And it's not easy for you either, and it's not easy for the teacher. That's why it takes a community to raise your child. It can't all be on the teachers, and you're just sent. Majority, I'm again not talking to people who do the right things. Please don't get offended if you are getting, like, your kids gotta have a set bedtime. They gotta have clean, like, I can't even tell you just in daycare how many stinky, unbathed children I got. That's not good for their health, especially with all these fucking germs. This time of year is cold and flu season. If you're not washing germs off your kid on a daily basis, you're only making them more susceptible to getting sick. At the same time, kids sweat. They sweat more than adults do. And although it kind of gets really bad more towards puberty, as kids, their feet stink, their pits stink, their butt stink. Half of them don't wipe properly because they're busy. Their kids, like, I just want to hurry up and get up and play, so they don't wipe their butts appropriately. That's another reason why you give them baths, sitting in the water. Their private parts get cleaned. They can get stinky. They gotta brush their teeth. You gotta be taking care of their breath and their, like, that was the worst thing as a teacher. Parents forgetting to brush their kids' teeth every day, and like third, fourth day of that, them kids get some foul ass breath, and you gotta get close to teach them kids. Don't let your kids be the stinky kids in class. I mean, granted, there are kids out there where you bathe them every night and they just wake up stinking because they sweat in their sleep, and you gotta get through that. I'm not judging you. Just tell your freaking teacher, like, I don't know, if he's got a gland problem, I don't know what to do. Teachers, they are so, that's the best thing about teachers. They go with the flow like nobody else. They have to. They're dealing with kids. You know what I mean? So whatever problem you're having with your kid, it is always wise to sit down with the teacher and be like, hey, I've been working with little Timmy on his math, and he just can't get a subtraction, and everything I'm trying, I just seem to be confusing him more. Can you help me? Like, really, I don't know. I don't have teaching abilities. How do I explain it better? And they will sit with you, and they will talk to you as if they're going to talk to your child and be like, okay, well, when they're doing this, this is when you ask them. They will teach you how to teach your kid to help them because they can't do it all themselves. And they really appreciate parents that, one, care enough about their kid to be paying attention that they're struggling in something. Two, you're bringing that struggle to the teacher's attention, so when that subject comes up, your teacher can give your child one-on-one attention in class, whereas, okay, in the back of their mind, Timmy's struggling with this, and I'm doing this on the board. So not that they're going to single Timmy out, but they might walk by and be like, hey, Timmy, how's it going? You need a little help? And, it's also good for the parent to be like, hey, Timmy, I let the teacher know that you're struggling. So when you're not getting it, go ahead and pop your hand up. The teacher knows about it and be like, hey, this is the part where I was struggling. Can you help me? And she'll come right over. Just instilling that in your child, that you got their back, that the teacher has their back, gives them confidence to ask for help. They're little kids. Pride gets in the way. They feel stupid. They feel nervous about asking questions. And that's a lot of where the learning issues come, because kids don't know how to speak up. They aren't born with confidence. That's something that's taught and instilled. You got to help your kid. Like, the biggest thing kids say when they get frustrated with their homework is, this is stupid, or I'm stupid. It's always angry at the subject or angry at self. And it's a self-sabotaging energy that you have to correct in your child. That's the parent's role just as much as the teacher, because they lean on you. Your opinion means most. Mom and dad's opinion, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle. The family unit when you're little, like, approval is so big. Like, kids get so worked up when, you don't give them praise when they did a good job. Like, Mom, look, Mom, look at me. Look what I'm doing. Look, Dad, look what I just did. They're looking for your praise. They're looking for acceptance from you. And they're always seeking that as a child. And they're seeking that within themselves. So you got to teach them that one way I'll fuck up. Okay, nobody wins. I don't like this everybody gets a trophy shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, parents? In real life, when your kid grows up, if they're an athlete, if they work in an office, if they're in any kind of competitive environment, if you don't win, you don't get no praise and you don't get shit. So all these blow-ups that we're dealing with the younger generation is because they have this mentality that everybody's awesome and everybody gets shit. Like, everybody's awesome at everything they do the first time. I mean, like, everybody is awesome. But I mean, like, oh, I'm just going to go in and crush it because that's what people do. I can just wing it. I don't know what the fuck this lesson was, but they are impossible to work with. And that comes from everybody's great. Everybody wins. You don't have to try. You just have to do your best. That stop their trying. Achieving something, the reward is what makes people work hard. There's a reward in everything. If you are a mechanic, you have to do an apprenticeship. So the first time you can, like, fix a car by yourself is an accomplishment because you had to go through an apprenticeship. When you show up and you just get a trophy, there's no apprenticeship sponsored there. So these little kids are like, what? I don't just get the job? I gotta work 3 months to prove myself? What? That's not how this works. Yes, the fuck it is. You taught them wrong. Like, you're not understanding the implications down the road. Like, yes, you want them to feel good and be happy kids, but it's growing up and making lazy, disillusioned adults. Where's the happy medium? How can we help them have confidence as kids, but still make them work hard? By earning shit. You used to be able to earn a gold star in class for being good. And if you didn't get a gold star in class that day, the whole class knew you were wrong, that you were bad. So that the kids come in the next day, I'm going to get a gold star today. And yes, it's demoralizing when they get 5, 6, 7 days in a row with no gold stars. But that's also how you tell kids who are having behavioral issues, who need a little bit of psychology. So there is methods to their madness. When kids just can't get it together, when they just can't seem to focus, that tends to be a disorder, whether they have a sensory overload and there's just too many kids so they need a smaller classroom, or whether they need medication. I'm not for pushing medication, but there are kids that really do have attention deficit that really does hinder their learning, and that medication just allows them to sit in the chair without having that sensory overload and just focus on what the teacher's saying and not what every kid in the class is doing. I have ADD. It was hard for me to learn. I have ADD as an adult. It's hard for me to focus still to this day, but I learned the tools because I didn't have a classroom that pampered me. I had to learn to adjust myself. Back then, they weren't giving kids medication. I should have probably had some just to be able to focus, but that's iffy. That's up to the parents, and I do think that the school's pushing that too much, so I do agree with the parents, because that honestly is their first thing. When your kid's acting up and they've tried their few basic tricks that they have, if those few basic tricks don't work, they're like, oh, they need medication. That's not true. They need counseling. Something's wrong with them, that they're not, yes, sometimes it is sensory overload, but that can also be corrected with counseling by child psychologists talking to the child and being like, why do you get so distracted, and helping them figure out in their own way how they can tune it out. Because as an adult, if you don't learn those basic coping skills, your life's going to be hard for you. So teaching them as a child emotional coping skills for their own needs over medicine is always the best thing. I really think that your kid should be a certain age before you even try medicine, because it does hinder growth and heart stuff. So child psychology would be a big attribute to fixing behavioral problems over drugs. I just think we're making kids zombies too early. I really don't think any kind of drug, as far as ADD, should be given out until middle school. And even then, that's touchy because it can cause suicidal thoughts. A lot of that medicine creates depression, and that's all in how it's made and produced. So until you can ensure that it isn't going to negatively affect these kids' brains, I got through ADD with no medicine. It was hard as fuck, and I had a hard time making friends or being understood. I still do, but I don't need that fucking medicine. I didn't as a kid. I found a way to sit in class without disrupting everybody. It took about a year. I'm not going to lie. My teachers had to yell at me a lot, but that's just age. It was between the 5 and 6, kindergarten, first grade. I had a hard time. I didn't talk to kids, but I was a bad kid. When all the kids would go sit at the desk, I would get up and play. I wasn't speaking, I wasn't interacting, I was just ignoring everybody and doing my own thing. That was a part of ADD. I don't want to sit. I want to play. But I was a mute child, so I didn't say that. I just got up and did it. So they thought I was an asshole when they thought I was, not that they thought I was being an asshole, they thought I was being disruptive on purpose. But all I could focus on was, I want to play, 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 I want to play. So you're thinking that, and the teacher's teaching the class, a 5-year-old's going to last about 3 seconds of sitting there. I want to play. I want to play. That's all your brain and your body's saying. I couldn't even sit still. I want to play. I want to play. I want to play. It took over my body. So I just said, fuck it. I couldn't. Sitting there in that chair was fucking torture. That's the disorder, not the child. I learned tricks. I used to scribble on my notebook to be able to listen in class. Doodling helped me focus on something and still be able to listen. I had to be doing something. I could not sit there. I can now. I can sit very still. I love sitting still. But as a child, you're a completely different animal when you're a kid. And those kids really do struggle. Take it from someone with ADD. Sometimes medicine is a relief. It really depends on that level of, I want to play, and you will understand. If your kid, they get anger issues because they get so frustrated that they can't do what you're asking. Their body physically stops them from being able to sit there. You'll know because nothing will work. If I was a kid that needed medicine, I wouldn't have been able to find a coping method that worked for me without medicine. I think medicine is there for those kids that just can't. That's a prison, to be stuck in a body that forces you to think what you don't want to think about and focus on what you don't want. That's not the child's fault. And that's not the teacher's fault for getting aggravated because, again, they put too many kids in one class. I'm sorry, there should not be more than 10 or 12 kids per class in any school environment. To effectively teach, you should not have more than that. A basic size classroom across the United States is 25 to 30 students for one teacher and one teacher's aide, and the teacher's aide got cut in most public schools. So that's one teacher to 25 to 30 kids. How is that fair to the teacher and their salary they're making? Your teacher makes maybe $60,000 a year if they're a good school district. Most of them are making $45,000 a year to teach 25 kids a day and they no longer get paid through the summers a lot. They used to hold money from your check to be able to make up for those 3 months you don't have school. Most schools don't offer that program anymore. So teachers now have to go find a part-time job for the 3 months that they're out of school. I think they get like unemployment or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not a teacher, but a lot of teachers are complaining that they used to have a program where they used to take set amount of money out of their check so they'd still get a paycheck through the summer months because they can't work. School is closed. A lot of teachers have to work up another job after teaching your kids to be able to support their family because they're not getting paid enough. So can you imagine having to teach 25 kids until 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then have to go work 5 hours as a server just to feed your kids and pay your mortgage? You guys aren't understanding how much bullshit this government is doing to teachers. I'm surprised there is not a teacher strike. You're lucky that these teachers love these kids enough to put that first over their own pocket. They come every day because they love your kids. They get to know your kids hug them, they see them every day, they talk to them, they care. They care more than you imagine, and you should be tipping them. I wish teachers could take tips. Every week you should be giving them 10%, not the fucking church. They earned that shit. I'm sorry. If you want to go to church on Sunday, I support that. But instead of putting that 10% in the bin to something that's not helping your kid at all, why don't you take that 10% and put it into your fucking school? Or your public library, or your special needs programs. God has needs all over this world, and we get caught up on the wrong things. I want you to ask your church to show you what they did with the money that they collected from your church that month. Tell them you want invoices. They won't give it to you. Donate where it counts. And I'll leave it there. I love you guys. See you soon. Bye.